So last night, again, I don't remember what happened because I was sleeping. I was sleeping really good. And something happened, and all of a sudden I was awake. And so I got up and I went to go pee, and I came back and I was like, what is this bright light in my room? How weird. So I looked out, and I don't know, it seems like it was around a month ago, which, people who are looking for the truth and the illusion would say, well, that's the cycle. That's why it'd be there. Well, if it was a cycle, wouldn't it have to go through the whole thing? It just pops over there once a month and every other time is somewhere else. So I don't remember when it was, but I know I talked about it. But this time I got my camera out because I was up. So I went and I got my phone and I was videoing it, and I was trying to zoom in and see it. And it looks just like the same thing, the illumination disc. That, people get really like, oh, so confused. Illumination disc, what the hell are you talking about? That's crazy, Doc. That's the sun, psychopath. And it's like, oh my God. Okay. It is like in the Truman Show, when she's on the beach and she's talking to him and she's got that couple of seconds, he just wants to kiss her. And she's got that couple of seconds, like the car's driving down to take her away. She's like, it's all fake. It's all fake. You got to listen. Everything is for you. See this sand? It's fake. That's what it feels like you're doing all day long. And everybody's like, no, what? What are you talking about? It's like everybody's in this state. Look how long it took Truman to wake up, man. It took him a while. But I do find myself in that thing where he's sitting in the, waiting to go. He's got Laura Linney in the car, and he's saying, watch, there's going to be a red Volkswagen, and then the guy with the flowers, and then, like he was watching the patterns. He was noticing the reality wasn't real. He was noticing the illusion and stuff. And when he's pointing it out to her, she already knows anyways, but, those manipulate her. And, but I feel like that is what it's all about. That is what it feels like all the time. You're just looking all the time. Like, this is an illusion. That's all you can see. Once you know it, that's all you could freaking see, is how fake everything is. That it's all this fucking chronic illusion. And people are just so captured with it. But it's their own ego driving them. For, do they want money? Apparently everybody thinks that's the happiness. They have this whole new movement towards manifestation, and people learning about manifesting, and all they can think of to do is manifest money. Money, 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 money. Why wouldn't you manifest security? Why wouldn't you manifest, a safe place to live, a place to grow food, a car that runs? It's like they just missed the point. Like, money, what is money going to do for you? Especially money's collapsing right now. So you manifest all this money. What's it for? So you have a bunch of monopoly money. So you can just sit. Like, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with, money was the trap. That was the bait on the hook, was their money system, so that we would chase this money with our desires and they could create the consumerism that funds their parties, funds their creepy rituals and shit, their yachts. So this, it is, it's so much of it is just an illusion. And the whole thing with the moon and stuff. So I'm looking out there, and it was so freaking bright. It's in this weird spot, and I'm trying to see. It's a weird shape. It was like, it wasn't round like this. Like when I got my telescope out and I looked at the moon, and when you can see it, it's really big, full moon, right? And we've all seen these moons, and you can see the gray spots or something. Like, you can see that there is, different, I want to say layers, but that's not the word I'm talking about. Like mountains where, it's craters, supposedly. But, you know, it's different textures and shit. You can see it when you look at it. Well, this thing back there, the illumination disc, just like what they tell us, like, oh, this illumination disc is the sun. I think that they're just shining a certain light. Like if they use a microscope, like, or whatever those things are called. You know, those things like when kids would hold them, those round things, and they had a stick, those glass, and so you could see, magnifying glass. That's what it is. So you can magnify things. So they would go out and the sun would shine, and they could take, this happened a lot when I was a kid, that I'd seen this, but there's a lot of ants where I lived in the South, like fire ants and shit. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Maybe they're just brutal on the ants. I don't know. But I know I've seen this. And they take the sun and they magnify it through the glass, and then they can burn up the ants, like fry them. You know, kill them. It's like an energy weapon on the ants. We're the ants, dude. We're the fucking ants. So the what I think is going on is, so they've got some sort of the same kind of thing that they're doing, is some sort of shining this light through this light or something. But it is like they turn, like cue on the lights, just like they did in the Truman Show when they were looking for him. And all of a sudden it was like, keep, you know, bringing the sun in the middle of the night. So that's what like they do. It's something with the lighting or something, of how they direct it. Because I swear to God, that's the same illumination disc. So, because when you look up at it, I've done sun gazing before. Like you can look at the sun, especially out here through trees and stuff, because it kind of filters. So the pine trees and stuff, it has all of the, when they're way up there, it's just like looking through a filter. And you can look up and you can see it, and it's like magic. It's color and movement. It's really super cool. This thing that they're calling the sun, this thing that I call the illumination disc, is a white disc that you cannot look at. It burns your eyes. Like it literally burns your eyes. That's what gives me the idea of that magnifying glass on the ants. And so you can't look at it. You can't see anything. You can feel heat coming off of it. So whatever they're using is creating some sort of heat. And maybe it's all part of their practice to get us to, you know, to comply, or whatever the word, you know, to all agree to whatever taxes for climate change. You know, they gotta make us really fear climate change. So, you know, could be part of that whole agenda. I don't know. Here comes, you hear it? I swear to God, it sounds like World War II. And they just fly by. This is a whole new thing, too. So fucking creepy. Hopefully you can hear it. Otherwise, I just look kind of kooky, just stopping. But it sounds like World War II plane flying overhead, like watching the border. That's what they do all day long. Okay, so, oh, and now we've got the floods too. Yeah. Okay, so, anyways, so it seems to me that it is some sort of, I mean, technology for sure. But then the one in the nighttime, the one that was shining in my room, it was like that same thing where you couldn't look at it and see anything. Like you couldn't see any, it is just shining white, bright, like somebody has a flashlight just shining it right in your eye. And that's the same thing with the other thing. And it's weird to me how there's so many people who don't notice the difference. It's like, did you ever look at the sky before? Did you ever look at the sun before? How are you not noticing it? And then I yesterday I had posted some, because yesterday when I drove into town, well, I didn't drive all the way to town. I just drove to the store. And, you know, was posting about the clouds and the illumination disc, because it made no sense. It's way over here. We got giant storm clouds. It's behind these storm clouds. And somehow it's able to illuminate all of the edges and make all this beautiful orange, you know, that's all the heavy metals. Like, but these people are like, that is completely natural. Okay. Okay, whatever is natural in your AI world, in this, you know, this metaverse that they're creating. They've got people locked in with their consciousness that are just completely willing to just go in and live their life, a virtual life, you know. But I guess, you know, if you are whatever, socially anxious, depressed, overweight, sick, unhealthy, don't feel attractive. I mean, what a better thing to do than just put on these glasses and go into this other state of consciousness where you go in and you live the life you want. But see, that's the easy kind of like, oh yeah, it's all about you. It's all about just going and live the life you want. You don't have to do the work. You don't have to progress as a soul. You don't have to do anything. Just, stay in this, I don't know, like a fugue state of, it's just like when they show in those sci-fi movies where they have those people in that, that state, I can't think of the word, where they are in that kind of a sleep and they're in those tubes and stuff. They always show it in sci-fi movies. They can be in there for 100 years and come out and be the same age and shit. As what like these people are doing, these conscious people. Well, semi-conscious. I mean, they're awake and alive, but they're on autopilot. Ooh, AAA. So, yeah, I don't know. It is a locked-in state of mind, but yeah, they make it sound real great. It's the same thing they're going to do with the synthetics. The same thing. It's, Westworld shows exactly, and I really think that the whole thing with Westworld and all of these people waking up to these different realities, like we have all these people are like, oh my gosh, I jumped realities. Like I saw a girl yesterday and she went up to get gas and she goes, this is where I go every single time to get gas. They have a specific gas. No one else in town has this gas. I always go here to get this gas. And she shows the pump and her gas is gone. It's no longer there. And she's like, could someone please tell me what's going on? Like, because this is not even the option, isn't even there anymore. I went on every single one of the pumps. My gas is gone. And like I had said about that book, the Marianne Williamson book, like in the reality I lived, when I was younger, she wrote that book, not whoever this other person was. So, and there's a whole bunch of different people I hear talking about these jumping in these timeline things. But that is what happened in Westworld when the consciousness started becoming aware and started questioning its reality. Was it started realizing like, wait, I already did this before. Wait a minute, I swear this happened before. And I couldn't keep watching the show. It was too trippy because it's exactly what's going on, and it is exactly what their plan is to put people into synthetics. And that, first thing is get them into the virtual world. Well, you live in a virtual world. I mean, what are you going to do? Just sit there and eat bags of chips and live in this virtual world? You're going to get healthier or unhealthier? So it seems like a real nice little segue right into, hey, you can actually go and live your life in this synthetic. It's like, okay, well, more power to you. If you just want to be a conscious being that, you have no control over your consciousness, you're just a power supply for other people's desires. Like, I don't know, but I mean, it takes waking up. It takes questioning your reality. It takes, just looking for the questions. I just can't believe how many people want someone else to give them the answers. It's like, nobody can give you your answers. I mean, anything I say that you think sounds crazy, then, you don't have to ever listen to me again. But there's some people who hear something I say and they think, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to look into that. I want to know more about that. Or they get, like, an interest gets piqued, or a seed gets planted, and they go somewhere and somebody else says something. It's like, oh my gosh, I just heard someone else talking about that. That's how we start to form our understanding of our reality. And it's so important. It's so important for us to be sharing stories. And I know it's part of why they want to kill off the old people, to control history, because they have complete control. If there's nobody there to speak, I mean, they control the fucking books, they control the media, they control everything. And if there's no storytellers there, and they can rid everything of the tribes and the ancient texts and stuff, they completely control this reality. And you can see what they're doing when you start looking into it. But you know, like, I know this stuff because I've looked into it. I've seen the evidence. But I could show stuff to somebody all day long and then still be like, because it was what I needed to learn about, so that I became aware of this world. But everybody has different things, and it is about sharing our information, because that is what helps us all to have a deeper understanding of ourselves and this reality. And so many people, they want to keep safe, you know, they don't want to share things about themselves because it's been a bullying world. I know. Like, everything I would talk about, like, I can't even tell you how many conversations I've been shunned out of. Like, oh, okay, nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to talk about that and stuff. And, you know, you're always the odd man out. But we're going into a new change where the odd man out now has got things where people are going to be like, well, I kind of feel like I need to know a little bit more about that, because everybody was focused on what was going on in the game, what was going on, you know, in Peggy Sue's life last week. It's all been a distraction. When you really start tuning in, like, I just was tuned in always. I was always being led a certain direction. It makes sense to me now, but there was a lot of times where I just felt like I just don't fit into this world. I don't understand this world. This is not my place. I couldn't understand people. It's a very hard place to understand. But it is also a place where we all get to express our individuality, to become more of ourselves, to see ourselves, so that we can understand ourselves and we can begin to grow past our old self into our new self. That's the process of this ascension, you know, the path to enlightenment. It all has to do, I can't believe how many people I hear talking about stuff like, you know, they're spiritually waking up. They're starting to see things and see through things and understand things differently. They're starting to hear their inner guidance and stuff. But then they still question, like, what does this all have to do with anything? And like, there's so many questions still for people, even when they're starting to have more awareness of this supernatural kind of existence. And I can't remember what I was going to say. It was something profound. Oh, what was it? It was something about, I don't know. You probably understood what I was talking about anyways. Sometimes I feel like that we over-explain things, because I think generally when someone's talking, we already have an image in our head. We already know. It's like we don't need to use as much language and words as what we do use. Like, I know that I'm doing this, you know, so I have to for what I'm doing. But a lot of times, like, I'll start over-explaining something, and then you can get in your head with the over-explaining. And then you start questioning that part of it. And what am I explaining? And what if that isn't understood? And what part is understood? And how do they understand? And how does anyone understand? You know, like, to me, the world is all about the questions. I mean, I don't know why all these people are just like, they want answers. They want it all. They want the answers, and they want them now, and they want someone else to give them to them. It's all about the journey. It's all about the questions. It's all about the development of self. And that is the process. You can't skip all that. It's the process is what is needed for your soul to expand. So, yeah, it makes no sense why people want to skip over the process. Here, just give me the answers to the tests and I'll pass it. Even if you could go in and answer the questions right, which it's impossible to do, it wouldn't do you any good. You have to have your inner knowing. You have to know. And that's the beauty of when you do any kind of research, your inner knowing starts coming on, like, oh, you found me. And you start connecting with this inner understanding of reality. So, you know, some people, they could go out and maybe see one thing one time, and their whole brain just opens up and all their inner knowing is shown to them. And they don't need to go in and do 200,000 hours of research like someone else. I mean, everybody's individual. Everybody's communication is individual. And, you know, so you just, the main thing is you just can't go to someone else for your answers, because only you know what the questions is that you need, what the answers are that you need. It's all inside of you. So, you know, it may sound kind of dickish when I say that. Like, I can't give you your answers, but I mean, it's part of the whole thing. It's part of the whole process. It's part of the learning about yourself and understanding about yourself. I should probably go see what all the commotion is with the dogs. There was a couple more things it seems like I wanted to talk about. There's just been a lot of fascinating things lately. I can't remember. I can barely think. I tried to go back to sleep after the moon came in, and I just kept getting insights. That's that time in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, like when the rest of the world is quiet. The nocturnal consciousness of creation just starts chattering away and giving you insights, and they're always interesting. Like, you know, sometimes it's hard to go like, okay, shut up, leave me alone, I want to go to sleep now. But sometimes you got to do it. But so I was up for a bit longer, and then right when I would fall asleep, I sense that Stella's got some sort of sensor on her. As soon as I just like go ease right into it and just crash right into sleep, in this like deep sleep, instantly she'll start crying, jolt me awake. 3 times of that, and then finally I just got up. So anyways, I don't even know if I'm making sense today. I'm tired as shit. I can't even see the screen. So anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.